everybody, my name is Gitika Mahajan and I'll be presenting on the topic of human evolution. The titles for the news article and the primary literature article that I've chosen are on the screen. So we're going to start with the introduction. What is evolution? It is the process of a species' features changing over numerous generations through natural selection. The theory of evolution is founded on the assumption that all the species are connected and evolve over time. In the class that we're studying in, Bio 182, we discuss on how the species evolve with time and how natural selection plays a major role in determining the evolution of species. The primary literature article that I've chosen is a scientific literature developed by Timmerman of Pusan National University in Busan, South Korea and his team. It mainly focuses on how ancient and recurring climate change has caused evolution in Africa, parts of Europe, and Asia. So basically, this article explores the relationship between climate change and how natural selection caused due to this climate change leads to evolution of species. Learning about this can be especially useful to us so that we are able to explain why certain species evolved to what they presently are and the features that they possess. About the study conducted. So we see that climate change over the last 2 million years has long been thought to have played a significant role in the evolution of our genus Homo 1, 2, 3. However, quantifying this link has proven difficult due to the scarcity of representative paleoclimate datasets from the anthropologically relevant regions. On investigating, we saw the suitability of 5 hominin species over the past 2 million years using an unprecedented transient paleostone involved coupling the general circulation model stimulation with an extensive compilation of fossil and archaeological records. So what was observed was that these species had been significantly influenced by the astronomically forced changes in temperature, rainfall, and terrestrial net primary production. We see that hominins settled primarily in environments with low orbital scale climate variability during the early Pleistocene. After the mid-Pleistocene transition, archaic humans became global wanderers who adapted to a wide range of spatial climatic conditions. Their behaviors changed dramatically. Antiphase climate disruptions in southern Africa and Eurasia contributed to the evolutionary transformation of Homo heidelbergensis populations into Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, respectively. So we see that about 3 to 400,000 years ago, the reliable numerical simulations of climate-induced habitat changes present in the study provide a platform for testing hypotheses about human ancestors. That's what this primary literature article is all about. Now, something about the news article. The news article talks about how human evolution and climate study suggests that Homo sapiens evolved in southern Africa around 300,000 years ago. A group of researchers from South Korea and Europe simulated the Earth's climate history over past 2 million years and compared it to ancient human bone and tool discoveries to arrive at this conclusion. According to the lead author of the literature study, Axel Timmerman, it's the first study that's conducted to link archaeological evidence with long-range climate modeling to piece together a story of early human movement and evolution. So we're going to discuss about the relevance of the news article and the associated primary literature. So our first topic is archaeological remains. Researchers can determine the climate of the time by dating sediments, analyzing bits and bobs like pollen lodged in the soil, and knowing what plants grew at the time. However, fossilized bones and tools are unaffected by the outside environment, so they don't provide a record of the climate at that time. Rather than relying on sediments from archaeological digs to provide climate data, the new study that was performed used a computer model to examine the climate at that time. The celestial climate. Professor Timmerman and his colleagues' climate cycles were not the same as the ones we know today, which is caused by an influx of carbon emissions into the atmosphere. Celestial objects were influenced by climate changes that prompted our early ancestors to relocate. These astronomical climate cycles are called Milankovitch cycles. These are a few different types of Milankovitch cycles, one which is determined by the Earth's distance from the Sun. So, our third topic is evolution of the species. Around 2 million years ago, at the start of the Pleistocene, the climate began to cool. The first waves of early human migration out of Africa began around this time. Homo erectus, an archaic relative of modern humans, was likely one of the first species to make those forays. More than 3,200 archaeological from 6 human species, including our species, which is the Neanderthals and the H. heidelbergensis, which is thought to have appeared in Africa around 800,000 years ago, were overlaid and the observed maps by the researchers. The researchers were able to see the various types of environment that each human species preferred to live in thanks to the maps. They were able to conclude from the research that the Heidelbergensis species had spread from southern Africa to Europe and possibly Asia around 500,000 years ago. The population of H. sapiens is the result of this process. A competing hypothesis that was provided referring to these results was that the species did not evolve from a single area but from multiple subdivided populations scattered across the African continent that bred with each other on an irregular basis. Lastly, importance of archaeological tools. The intricate story of human evolution will be brought into sharper focus by the discovery of more fossils and a better classification of tools. It is believed that new techniques that allow researchers to piece together genetic material extracted from fossils or even sediments will shake up archaeology as well. To summarize, we see that it can be concluded that from the shift of climate had a major role to play in the evolution of the human species. A study linked habitable areas known to archaeological and fossil discoveries by modeling the changes in Earth's climate. It was also found that the archaic humans preferred to hang out in regions with a pretty stable climate, while humans that emerged later, such as the Heidelbergensis species, were wanderers who settled in harsher, drier conditions. Thus, we saw that the Heidelbergensis species resulted into a new species called the H. sapiens. Here are the links for the news article and the primary literature that were utilized in the presentation. And these are the references. Thank you so much.